talk a little Olympic basketball. We got a showdown on the way. The United States against Iran. Kenny Ducey, Nick Whalen, both joining me here. Adam Kaufman with you. We're about halfway home on this show. And guys, well, the U.S., quite frankly, it was unfortunate last time out against France, losing down the line, tough second half collapse. But now 40-point favorites against Iran coming off that loss to the Czech Republic. Nick, let's start with you. Looking at the showdown, who are you going to captain?
Man, this is really tough. I think KD is worth a shot. I think he's still the highest floor player that Team USA has to offer, even in a game that could very easily get out of hand, as early as maybe the first or second quarter. Iran, against Czech Republic in its first game, was able to make that final score fairly respectable with a huge fourth quarter, but Iran was down 20, 30 plus for a lot of that second half. And it would not be a surprise if this one goes in line with the spread. So when you're picking a captain and really when you're selecting the rest of your roster in this showdown contest, you kind of have to be grasping at straws to some degree. You're projecting, okay, what happens if Team USA is up 35 in the third quarter? Does KD sit the rest of the way? Do we see more Jeremy Grant? Do we see Team USA pull back on Drew Holiday, who, came in hot from the NBA Finals, played a ton of minutes on Sunday morning's game? You kind of have to do your own projections, essentially, on what you think is going to happen with this roster in a blowout scenario. But at the end of the day, I think KD is still the safest option. But I also like Bam Adebayo, who you can captain at just under $10,000 in this DraftKings showdown. And if you go with Bam, you can virtually build any roster you want around him, given how the salaries play out. And you do have to include one Iranian player. That's going to be somewhat of a crapshoot, but you can pretty much pick and choose whichever USA guys you want if you do go with Bam at the captain spot.
Yeah, Kenny, I guess that kind of becomes the question. If you want the safe pick versus differentiation, who are you captaining?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and request I never do any more segments with Nick because he always steals my thunder with these. Yeah, I am captaining Bam Adebayo at 9.9K. He's a great option here. He's coming off a 34 fantasy point game. And what we learn about international play every time we see it is that the big men just continue to get more and more dominant with the different rules that FIBA has. I think we saw it against France that there's a serious problem here with the U.S. and size. We'll talk about in a second that Iran has a pretty good big man. They're going to want good post defense out there. Adebayo and Drew Holiday are two guys I really like in this showdown because they're the two best defenders on the United States. And I do think that it's going to be important to have them out there. And then I think that also, obviously, we've seen the fact that they can score the basketball and be good offensive players, stuff the stat sheet. I think Bam Adebayo is a lock for a double-double here. And I think that ultimately he's definitely my favorite play for what Nick mentioned. You could put him there and then you can get Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard in there. I want no part in fading those guys when you consider the fact that they could just, have 50 fantasy point nights each. So Adebayo is the best way to construct your lineup, in my opinion, in the captain spot.
Well, you've both mentioned Durant and Holiday and Bam, so maybe you want all those guys in your lineup. I don't know, but it becomes more challenging, obviously, Kenny, when you're looking at Team Iran. Which way do you go? Because Nick said could be kind of a crapshoot. How do you go about researching a guy from Iran that you want on that squad?
Yeah, I think it begins and ends with Hamed Haddadi. I know that he's the most expensive player at $8,800, but he's worth every penny. He's 7'2". He's very experienced at 36 years old. He looks like you'd find him in a pickup gym. He's just this old man who just continues to get rebounds and buckets down low. But what I mentioned earlier about the big man, I think rings true. I think that you see, some shooting variance here with Iran. I mean, I don't think they're going to, some of these guards are not going to hit the same level of shots that they did against the Czech Republic, against some legitimately good defenders and Chris Middleton and, Damian Lillard, guys that are athletic can hang with guys. I don't see the guards really having a big role in this game, but I do think Haddadi is going to be a guy that is going to be out there. He put up 39 fantasy points against the Czech Republic in just 29 minutes. I think he'll get plenty of rebounds with some size issues with the United States. And I do think that ultimately the offense runs through him. He's the best player on the floor for Iran, no question about it. And he plays on the Sichuan Blue Whales in the CBA. He's definitely the most accomplished player on this team. I'm going to go with him.
Nick, which way you going?
Yeah, I was up all night, researching the backstories on all these Iranian players. I don't think I went as deep as Kenny did. I did not research their CBA teams. But Haddadi's the easy call. I think especially if you're a more casual basketball fan and you really don't have the time to dig into what a lot of these guys are doing, with their international club teams. Like Kenny said, he had a 15-10 double-double with 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block against the Czech Republic earlier this week. It's a name that NBA fans should be familiar with. Played 5 seasons in the league, most prominently with the Memphis Grizzlies. My one concern about Haddadi, though, is potential for foul trouble. Keep in mind that it's 5 fouls and you're out in FIBA. And, I think Team USA, has been kind of victimized in some ways. At least maybe they would say that in terms of how these games have been refereed relative to what they're used to. I think at some point they need to kind of turn the tables and try to use that to their advantage. So I would not be surprised if they tried to attack Haddadi early in this game, get him 3 fouls in the first half, force Iran to kind of be careful with him. So that's kind of the downside with Haddadi. The other player that if you kind of look at the box score from that Czech Republic game, that's really what most fans have to work off of here. Yak Chalita-Cordy, 23 points, 4 assists in game 1, took a ton of shots in that game, had the highest usage rate of any player on the team. So if you don't have time to go super deep on that research, that's another direction I would lean for Team Iran.